Bro, you have got to be Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another Remnant 2 video. Now, a little over a year ago, I posted about the strongest build in the game, which featured the Crescent Moon Bow. Well, with this DLC, we've got a brand new top weapon for DPS builds. Real quick, let me show you the side-by-side of these two bows. Genesis is definitely easier to know when you're fully charged with the 4 purple ring indicator. But Crescent Moon Bow also seems to do just a little bit less damage, even when you're perfect hitting your mod shots. Now, up until October 3rd, this bow is actually broken, and I actually had a bunch of B-roll footage from the Gauntlet of bosses dying almost instantly. But sadly, that's no longer the case. Now the bow is correctly doing the intended damage, and guess what? It's still pretty dang good. So I recorded some boss fights to show you in action, but first let's take a look at the build. Alright, for this build we're going Classic Hunter Gunslinger. The main reason this build got a huge upgrade is the 0 hour amulet. This increases our damage by 20% and our crit chance by 10% as long as we're in light class, which we are here with 39.9, so you want to be under 40 for this with this build. For the gear, I've got the High Noon set, but also the Red Widow bracers to get us a little bit more defense. Tranquil Heart, Genesis bow with a supercharger. I'm using the Krell axe. I mean, you know, you can use whatever melee weapon you want, honestly, it doesn't really matter. And I've actually really liked the silverback model with corrosive rounds and extender. This thing has been a great mob killer. For the rest of the rings, we have Archer's Crest. There's actually a couple new ones for firearm charge time. If you don't have Archer's Crest, Feathery Binding is actually good if you're going to get some haste from somewhere, whether you're going to use a consumable or change the build slightly. They also have this Tolerance Band, which, I don't know, I didn't really care for it. I still think Archer's Crest is the best of the 3 the charge time ones. We have Braided Thorns for crit chance, Probability Cord for crit damage, and Xenia's Malice for weak point damage. Alright, now this build has insane crit potential. So we get 10% from Genesis, and another 15% from our Mutator, so 25. We get 5 from Hunter, 5 from Gunslinger, 35. 10% from Braided Thorns, 45. 10% from 0 hour, 55. And with our fragments, we have crit chance here and here for another 15%. So our crit chance is very high with this build, so of course we want to use Probability Cord to take advantage of that. Speaking of fragments and prisms, I did get to finally max out my prism. I'm not really thrilled with the legendary prism I got. Trader is just 40 basically free trait points because it just maxes out your core traits. So when you're doing your traits, go ahead and copy this, but I would take off Fitness, Spirit, Endurance, and probably some Flashcaster, since you're not going to have as many trait points unless you have that legendary prism as well. Now, there was another update to boss rush mode. They adjusted the boss scaling in the early waves, so they'll be a little bit tankier now until you can get your late run upgrades going. So I'm just going to run some 3 rounds to get some good base of this weapon looks like, without the Ranger or Weak Spot +5 perks.